Good morning. Happy Easter. I am Kelly Carpenter. If you don't know me, I am the administrative assistant here at the church. And this is going to be a little different for me today. I started writing a testimony about a month ago and went to finish it over the weekend, and I just was not feeling it at all. It just seemed like my thoughts were scattered. I just really didn't feel God in it. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to scratch this. I'm going to start over. And so I did that. And then, you know what? I thought, gosh, I just am not liking where this is going either. So guess what? I don't have anything written down this morning. I am a writer, not a public speaker. So this is going to be very different. But we're going to see where the Holy Spirit goes this morning. So what I do have, this is my testimony this morning. Go slow, don't say And that's an interesting story. When I started working here as the administrative assistant and I started doing the announcements, there was a person who called me out because in the first time I did announcements, I said like 40 times. So every time I get up here, I'm just really conscious about trying not to do that. So go slow, don't say That's what I'm going to focus on today. I did write down a few notes in case I get lost, though. And I chose Easter because there's just something in a Bible study I did that I wanted to close with. It's just really cool. So I did bring that. So if I get lost, I could just revert to that and we'll just call it done after that. I'm doing a Bible study. We're doing us women. We're doing Armor of God. It's a Priscilla Shire study, and it has been tremendous. Last week, we focused, the homework was on the shield of faith. And what I got out of that was, I'm not putting my full trust in God. So I think that's maybe what he was trying to tell me this morning was that I need to trust him. So I'm trusting that he'll just give me the words. But how I got here, my family, I'm Buddy's wife, if you know who Buddy is, and and my girls are Cassie, Lily, and Raylyn. But we started coming I think Lily was a baby, so probably about 14 years ago, but it was off and on. We weren't faithful attenders. And it was about 3 years ago, we really got serious about coming to church. And that really started when we joined Celebrate Recovery, which has been an awesome, awesome thing for my family. I've grown a lot just in the last 3 years. If you didn't know me before, just seeing who I am now, you wouldn't, recognize who I was from then to now. But I started off, 3 years ago. I really didn't have any friends. I was just a very scared, very shy, very timid person. And when we would come to church, a lot of times my husband wouldn't come with me. I'd just come with the girls, but I didn't want human interaction at all. I wanted to isolate myself. I wanted to be here, but I didn't want to associate with anybody. I was just too scared to talk to anybody. I would come in, I'd try to hide, sit in the back, hunker down in my seat. And, and then after service, I'd get my kids from children's church, we'd rush out. And then we joined Celebrate Recovery. And when you just join a growth group, and we started going to the Sunday night growth group as well. When you put yourself in to the church, that's, when you see change. And as soon as I, started doing that, we started going to Celebrate Recovery, started building relationships. Then I saw myself starting to grow. And I look at all, of your faces out there, and I see friends now that I didn't have before. And really, I see family, because that's what you are, you're family. And it's just been so important to me to get involved, because I've been that Sunday Christian. You come, and then you go home, and then that's it for the week. And I would come, I'd feel rejuvenated, and then by the end of the week I'd be running on fumes. And that's not how God wants us to live. And I cannot just getting involved, whether it's a growth group or Celebrate Recovery's been awesome. It helps with any issues, not just addictions, but, any hurt, habit, or hang up. And, I've gone from isolation and, shame and guilt, feelings of that, just to being the kind of person who puts herself out there, like standing up here without a testimony to go off of. So yeah, it's just amazing. I just remember who I was and who I am now. And sometimes I'm still very how did I get here? I don't know. I'm still in awe. But thinking about who I was and who I am now, what God's doing in my life now is, since I kind of took on this role here at the church, I've kind of been stepping up, both here at the church and in Celebrate Recovery, been stepping up in leadership roles. I do lead a women's growth group Tuesday mornings, which has been just really awesome, to be able to do that. I learn a lot in that growth group. And actually, what I'm going to read to you when I close here comes out of one of those studies. But also, just here recently, within the last, I guess it's been about a month ago, or maybe a little longer, I was, been praying to God, gosh, what do you want me to do now? I'm at a point where I think, what do you want me to do next? And this was right before Lent, or right at the time of Lent. And I'd never done anything for Lent before. And I thought, well, I'm going to give something up. So I decided, well, I think the biggest distraction in my life that keeps me from spending time with God is the TV. Me and my girls, we, just have these shows that we always watch together. And we spend a lot of time, just watching television. I mean, I spend a lot of time here. The church kind of fills my time with Bible studies, Celebrate Recovery. I do a Friday night stuff study. But there is time at home that I could be spending with God that I'm generally spending watching TV. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give up TV. I think I wanted it to be something that would be a big sacrifice. And I thought, well, gosh, that would be, I think, to me, what would be the biggest sacrifice in my life. So I did. I thought, well, let's try a week. So I went without TV for a week, and I started that with a day of fasting. And I fasted on Wednesday, which started my fasting from the TV as well. And then by Friday, I was just, I'd been spending a lot of time with God. And Friday, I was journaling, and I felt God speak to me. And this was right after the shooting in Florida at the school down there, and I just really felt like God was calling me to do something. He was calling me to action. And so I'm trying to organize this community prayer walk around the schools. And I actually got in touch with this group called Moms in Prayer, which has been awesome. I've been going to that for about a month now, and it's really great. And the area coordinator there, she's trying to help me kind of organize this, but we're trying to get a community prayer walk around the schools, and the idea is to get a leader in place to kind of lead a group at each of the schools in Salina. And the National Day of Prayer is the first Thursday in May, so we're shooting for not shooting for, it is going to be the first Saturday in May. So it'd be the Saturday following the National Day of Prayer, which just so happens to be the day of our church cleanup. And also, I think the ladies have an event going on that day. So, with that in mind, I got really, really just kind of scared. I'm like, that my church is going to be busy. I don't have any other connections outside of this church. So I just really got got just worried about it, and I kind of stopped planning that. And then the week that we did Shield of Faith in Priscilla Shire, we were watching the video, and she, I had been using the word, I have no connections. Those were the words that were going in my head. And she, no joke, she said, even if you have no connections, get out there and put your faith in God. So I was like, oh man, okay, God. So yeah, she just straight up called me. And she said, do not let fear stand in the way of trusting God. I know, if he has called me, he will equip me. And, I wanted to have, we want to go to all the churches and I'm going to create a flyer, and we want to go to all the churches and just kind of ask for them to, maybe advertise around their church, just kind of partner with this project. And my idea was to have the leaders in place ahead of time. But I'm thinking, well, if I'm putting my trust in God, maybe I should just advertise first and then trust for the leaders later. I don't know. But my question for you is, if you're not coming to clean that day, if you're not a lady and you're not going to the women's event that I think is planned for that day, and if God has put it on your heart to help in this project, come see me, because I do. I mean, even if it's just to be there as support, you could, go there to, if you're a parent, just go to where your child attends and just offer support there. Or if you want to step up and be a leader and lead prayer at one of these schools, their Moms in Prayer. There's 12 schools in Salina that we want to cover, and Moms in Prayer only has a group at 4 of those schools. So that leaves 8 schools that don't have, anybody covering them. So I'm, looking for leaders. So if you are interested, see me. Let's see. All right. I think I've said everything I want to say except for this awesome passage in this Bible study. It was really fitting I chose Easter Sunday because of this passage. And, I could have not did this and had more time to prepare. But, I felt like I was trying to put my own words into it, and I was just not really thinking about God. So that's when I decided, okay, well, we're just going to leave all the written words out of it and just see where he takes me. But just picture, Jesus is, his body's in the tomb. Picture the 2 angels, or the 2 cherubim, one at the foot and one at the head of Jesus. Okay, and this is what the Bible study says. And this comes out of, it's a Beth Moore. It's a woman's heart. And it was about the building of the tabernacle, which when I would read about the building of the tabernacle, I always just thought it was just tedious, just a lot of just information. But there's really a lot of symbolism in there. And I never would have recognized it without doing these types of studies, just how important God intended. Every word in the Bible is just God intended. Every word serves a purpose. So it just brought a whole new light to the building of the tabernacle. I'll never read it the same way again. But anyway, here's the passage. Can you imagine the divine appointment as God called out the names of 2 of his cherubim and beckoned them before the throne, then sent them to earth to guard the most precious body that ever lived? Surely as the body of their beloved lay in that tomb, those 2 angels stood constant guard, one at the head, one at the feet, facing one another with wings outstretched, feet practically melted into position, eyes cast solidly in one direction. Surely their gaze never wavered from the one they adored. Their eyes were fixed securely on his own. Not a single angelic muscle must have twitched, awaiting the Father's promise. Then those eyes, those penetrating eyes that saw the pain of a leprous man, the eyes that set free a woman at a well, the eyes that saw a rock instead of a fumbling disciple, the eyes that took someone like me, someone who lived in isolation and turned her into a leader, those eyes, those piercing eyes began to open. And with the sound of mighty rushing waters, their wings propelled them straight into the heavens with the dearest cry a pain of spiritual ears would ever know. Let me start that over. And with the sound of mighty rushing waters, their wings propelled them straight into the heavens with the dearest cry a pair of spiritual ears would ever hear. He is risen.